Hi everybody, welcome to chapter 11, and we are going to be talking this chapter about some integers. And before I get into what the definition of that is, what I want to try to relay to you is why we use it. So when you think about doing, getting some allowance, and I say you are going to get paid $5 if you do this job for me, you know that you are going to get a positive $5 bill. However, sometimes my kids don't do their chores and we make them pay us to do them. So if I have a kid who doesn't clean the bathroom that they're supposed to clean, I might say, you owe me $5. And that is, they get -5 out of their little piggy bank or wallet or what, a jar or sock drawer. I don't know where they keep their money. You could say that you put money in the bank and you gained interest over the year, and you got $100 in interest that's going to be in your account. You would have a positive $100. However, let's say that you went shopping at the Mall of America and there was a video game that was a really good deal, but it did cost $100. It was on sale, half price. But we have to take $100 when that happens. And we are very familiar when we talk about temperature. As you know, in the summer, we can get to positive 100 degrees. And in the winter, sometimes we can get to -53 degrees. So we're talking about positive and negative numbers. So we're kind of coming up on what the definition would be. And that is, and I'm going to define it here, integers are all real numbers that are not fractions. And these can be positive or negative. The not fractions, we can have negative numbers that are fractions, but integers technically are not fractional parts. So I want to show you a couple of things. One of them I have in our bin that has the calculators and rulers and stuff like that. I have these little things. I don't make a copy for everyone because not everyone needs it, but it can show you a number line. And when you were little, we started with the number 0 and we counted up. And now we are at the 0, and you can see the first one to the left is -1, -2, -3, and so forth. All the way down on this number line, it goes to -25. You can go to the cows come home if you want. But sometimes this is a helpful visual for those of you who do need that. So I wanted to show you a couple of examples that you might see at the beginning of your assignment. If I say, for number 1, if you have a $15 profit, oh, orange doesn't like me, we'll get another color, $15 profit, how would you write that with numerals? If you guessed it's a positive 15, you are correct. Number 2 is, what if you had a 9-point decrease on this math test compared to the other math test? So a 9-point decrease. Well, that means you missed 9 more, -9. If you are playing football, because I don't know anybody in this class that plays football, you have let's say you lose yardage on a play, and you have a decrease of 7 yards. What do you think that would be? Obviously, -7. This is not a difficult concept when you think about where you're at on the number line. So then we are going to talk about the opposite numbers. When you ask someone, I just want you to think in your head quick and take a guess. I'm going to put this number down. What do you suppose the opposite of this is? You can pause it and write it. The opposite of this is going to be, that's the opposite. What if I say, what is the opposite of, write it yourself. The opposite is obviously this one. Tricky one. What do you suppose the opposite of 0 would be? Well, technically there's no opposite. You would just write it itself. It's 0. The opposite of negative 265 is positive 265. Then the opposite of positive 1,000,001 is negative 1,000,001. Super easy concept to grasp. But what does become a little bit more difficult if you're not thinking clearly is comparing. You've got to watch that sign. So let's say that I'm going to use this pen. Comparing. So if I have a now you can hopefully see that this is a negative. Some of my students like to write that positive, and a positive is always greater than a negative. So you should be able to see that it would point this way. The trick is that usually we're used to saying that 9 is bigger than 7, but not a negative 9. If you need the number line to take a look at and say, okay, negative 9 is right here, move this up, and 7 is all the way up here, you can see that this is the higher number. Let's try to compare negative 8 and negative 9. Think about that one. What would you put in the middle? Okay, hopefully your sign went this way, and if you need this to prove it, here is my negative 8 and here is my negative 9. Notice that this number is smaller. Think about it this way. Would you rather have me take $8 out of your account or $9 out of your account? Usually kids grasp the concept that way. Let's try negative 341 and negative 612. Which one is bigger? Go ahead and pause the video and think about that one. So it's opposite of what you might think. I would rather have somebody take this much out of my bank account than this much. Negative 341 degrees is a far better temperature than negative 612 degrees. So however you need to think about it, because our brains see these two numbers and we've been working in the positives for so long, sometimes they get gummed up with this, this one. What if we need to put some numbers in order? What if we needed, there were some scores in golf, and in golf you can get negative, because there's something called par, that's your 0. But let's say that somebody shoots negative 14 or 14 under par for negative 5. They shoot a 0, which is par, and they shoot a negative 16. So we're going to put these golf scores in order. So the first thing I'm going to do is say, okay, I want to be the one who has the most under par, the most to the left. of 0. So if I look at this, I see the negative 16 all the way down here. So I'm going to put that one first. That is the best score right here. And I always check them off. And then I'm going to go negative 14 is next. So I'm putting them in order of first, second, and third place. Oh, then I have a negative 5. And then I'm going to have a 0. And finally, a 4. Better than I would do. So really, really easy to do if you're thinking about what you're doing. Otherwise, you're going to mess up, and some of these negatives are going to end up over here because you have missed that sneaky little negative sign. This assignment is an introductory lesson. I believe that the concepts are pretty easy. There are examples in your books, and I'm going to set those up right here with a couple of things. Remember those yellow. They describe opposites as the same distance from 0. So like 3 is 3 units from 0 and 3 is 3 units from 0 to the right. That's how you find the opposite. I just explained what it is, and most kids get that. Also remember on previous pages especially on those first couple, always look at the key vocabulary because often those are in the first couple of answers. I hope that you enjoy this unit. A lot of kids do. It's fun to talk about numbers and different kinds of numbers than we have used in the past. So have fun comparing integers. Come see me if you have any questions.